What if machines could turn a desert into a forest? It sounds like something out of science fiction, a vision of lifeless sand suddenly springing to life. But in one of the harshest corners of our planet, this has already begun to happen. And what makes it even more unbelievable is that the driving force behind it isn't just human sweat and determination. It's thousands of intelligent robots quietly rewriting the story of our deserts. To understand just how shocking this breakthrough really is, we have to rewind. For decades, China faced a terrifying problem. The land itself seemed to be slipping away. Entire regions were swallowed by moving dunes, and villages that had stood for generations were wiped off the map. The worst offender was the Taklimakan Desert, nicknamed the Sea of Death. Imagine an ocean made of sand, stretching over 330,000 square kilometers, about the size of the entire country of Japan. Except here, the waves don't stop. The dunes are constantly shifting, towering as high as skyscrapers, moving dozens of meters in a single night. It wasn't just a distant curiosity. Every sandstorm that rolled off the Taklimakan left devastation in its wake. Crops failed, roads disappeared under dust, and entire transportation routes were cut off. Farmers were driven from their land. Towns near the edges of the desert lived under a constant shadow. One storm too many, and their livelihoods would vanish. By the late 20th century, almost one-third of China's territory had already been touched by desertification. For a country trying to feed and house more than 1 billion people, this wasn't just an environmental issue, it was a matter of survival. So how do you fight a desert? In the beginning, it was with sheer manpower. In the 1970s, China launched the 3 North Shelter Belt Project, one of the most ambitious environmental campaigns ever attempted. The plan was to surround the desert with a massive living wall of trees and grasslands, cutting off the sand's advance before it consumed more farmland. The work was grueling. Nearly 200,000 workers and even army units were mobilized. The technique? Primitive backbreaking methods. Media. Close-up video of workers burying straw grids in sand dunes, archival footage of planting saplings in arid soil, old trucks hauling water across desert. Workers burying straw grids in the sand to pin the dunes down, planting one drought-resistant sapling at a time, hauling water in by truck or bucket. It worked, slowly, but it was exhausting and expensive. Each worker could only secure a tiny patch of desert every day. Just buying saplings and hauling in water cost more than $200 per acre, before even paying for labor. The bigger the desert grew, the more impossible the mission seemed. For decades, progress was steady but fragile. The desert kept pushing forward, and every inch of green came at enormous cost. By 2010, after 40 years of effort, China had greened more than 100 million acres, an extraordinary achievement, but still not enough to keep pace with nature. And this raised a question. How long could humans keep fighting the sand with their bare hands? Then, in the 2020s, something changed. China's scientists unveiled a new weapon. Not men, not armies, but machines. These weren't ordinary tractors or bulldozers. They were purpose-built desert control robots, able to do in minutes what once took people days. The breakthrough wasn't just mechanical power. These robots could think. Equipped with advanced AI vision systems, they could scan the land, identify where planting would actually work, and then plot the best route to get there. While a human team might get lost or blocked by shifting dunes, the machines moved smoothly, avoiding gullies and slopes, like experienced desert travelers. The numbers were staggering. Each robot could plant 160 saplings per acre in about 20 minutes. To put that in perspective, that's a tree every 10 seconds, over 10 times faster than the fastest manual teams. But speed wasn't the only miracle. Thanks to irrigation-free seedling technology and precise planting methods, survival rates soared to 70 to 80%. In the past, most desert saplings withered within weeks. Now, for the first time, most were living. And the best part? These robots didn't tire. With cooling systems, rugged designs, and powerful engines, they worked 24 hours a day. Even in scorching heat, violent sandstorms, and under brutal ultraviolet rays, the desert had finally met its match. By 2024, more than 8,000 of these machines were deployed across China's deserts. Working in clusters, groups of 5 robots could transform 180 acres in a single day. The results were honestly breathtaking. Around the Taklimakan Desert, China completed a 3,046-kilometer ecological barrier, the world's longest man-made green defense against desertification. To imagine its size, just picture a living chain stretching farther than the distance between New York and Los Angeles. For China, it wasn't just an engineering feat, it was a turning point in history. The ancient story had always been sand advances, people retreat. Now, for the first time, it was green advances, sand retreats. By 2025, the project area had already seen 480 million acres afforested and more than 1 billion acres of degraded grassland restored. Artificial oases expanded by more than 50%. Towns once abandoned to the desert were now surrounded by life. News of the robots spread quickly. Countries plagued by their own deserts, from Saudi Arabia to Somalia, sent delegations to study the machines firsthand. For nations in the Middle East and Africa, where desertification threatens millions of livelihoods, this wasn't just impressive, it was hope. Many of these regions face the same challenges China once did: mobile dunes, fragile crops, vanishing farmland. If the robots could work in the Taklimakan, why not the Sahara? Why not the Arabian Peninsula? At international conferences, China showcased its achievement as proof that technology could take on one of humanity's oldest enemies. In Riyadh in 2024, world leaders applauded as China demonstrated how machines could build a green shield where once only death spread. And behind the applause was something deeper: speculation. Would this technology become China's most important global export? Could it reshape not just landscapes but geopolitics? Of course, challenges remain. Robots are expensive and deserts are vast. Scaling the technology worldwide won't be easy. Critics warn that maintaining such systems long-term will require enormous resources, but optimism is growing. Experts argue that with global cooperation, deserts that were once seen as eternal wastelands could one day be reclaimed. Imagine parts of the Sahara dotted with forests, or Middle Eastern farmland once again fertile thanks to robot-planted trees. For China, the success has already redefined its role. No longer just an industrial powerhouse, it is now a leader in environmental engineering, exporting not just machines, but a vision of how technology can heal the planet. So, what if machines really can turn deserts into forests? The story of China's desert robots is proof that the impossible isn't always out of reach. The Sea of Death was supposed to keep growing forever, but today its edges are shrinking. What was once an endless horizon of sand is slowly being replaced by green. And that raises an even bigger question. If humanity can conquer the desert, what other forces of nature might be tamed next? Rising seas, collapsing glaciers, or something we haven't even dared to imagine yet? One thing is certain, this is no longer just about China. It's about the future of the planet. And as more countries look toward machines to heal what was once thought irreversible, the deserts may not be as eternal as we once believed. Don't forget to hit the bell and comment for more of this insight. Thank you for watching.